Up next, Google this shit. Jill Stein. Now you're really understanding how fucking ludicrous it is that we were the only media there. Jill Stein was a 2012 presidential candidate. I'll let her explain why you never saw her at the debates, but first, let's get her take on, as she puts it, the new battle in Seattle. Take a look. Why did you take the time to be specifically here tonight?
You know, wild horses couldn't have kept me away. What's happening in Seattle is really critical for the whole nation. What's going down in Seattle is not going to stay in Seattle, and it hasn't stayed in Seattle. And the victory for working people here for a $15 an hour minimum wage is resonating all over the country. LA just passed their ECHO minimum $15 living wage law. And this is something that we need to raise the bar for all across the country. So it's a source of inspiration. I'm here to support Kshama. The battle in Seattle is this campaign, and it's important for all of us to win it.
How do you see, since you do have your eye on the national stage, how do you see this on the federal level? Do you see people reacting to this shift, not just in Seattle, but like you said, in other places across this country? How do you see people reacting to this?
But the 99% is really feeling its oats, I think, and beginning to wake up to its power. And I'm embarked now on this exploratory presidential campaign. It is so exciting to see how far we've come in 4 years. 4 years ago, we were sort of begging people to step outside of the corporate box, and people were very nervous about doing it. They were really interested in hearing about the campaign, but they were really cautious about being associated with it in any way or by pitching in. And now it's like we've become the lifeboat, and people are abandoning ship right and left from the Democratic Party. It's very exciting. I was just at a meeting today of the Seattle Green Party, and there were all kinds of Democrats there who'd been working for the Democratic Party for a long time. We see this coming into our campaign as well. Really, people who have their eyes on the ball inside the Democratic Party are throwing in the towel now.
Well, objectively, I curse on my show, as you know. So you're a badass. You were arrested when you tried to go to the debates in 2012. I've marched with this wonderful woman. You were at Black Lives Matter, Million Moms March, of course, the Climate March. How do you feel that somebody who does march with the people, how do you feel that can actually go up against this corporatocracy? Like, do you feel that it's really viable, that can really make a difference? You might get arrested again. I mean, how do you feel about shifting that to a possible presidential campaign?
I'd say bring it on. I think it is that social movement. It's that movement out in the street, which is the only thing that can save us. Howard Zinn had this saying, which was, "It's not who's in the White House, it's who's sitting in." When we make it to the White House, that'll be a great thing. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a victory simply to bring the fight into the voting booth, that to shrink from the voting booth, to exercise fear either in the voting booth or by staying away from the voting booth because you've been intimidated against using your power, your democratic power. To do that is to basically adopt a posture of fear and to wave the white flag of surrender. I think we need to be in fight mode, peaceful mode, but fight mode, because this is an emergency. They're not going to save us. We got to save ourselves. If you put together 1 out of every 2 American families that's in poverty or low income and heading to poverty, that's a lot of people. If you add to it 1 out of every 3 African American men who are basically held hostage by the prison state, and if you add to that 40 million young people, students, millennials who are in debt without any prospect really of being able to repay that debt, that's a huge number of people. That is more than enough to win the day. So the name of the game, we don't have to convince people. People have been convinced by history, by the course of events. We have 2 incredible public relations agents. One is called the economy. The other one is called the climate and the environment. They are conducting a public relations campaign of shock and awe, and they are winning people over, by the millions. We already have enough people right now, and they're going to keep coming. And our job is to empower and lift up the social movements, which are the real engine of change, and to give them a political voice in order to make them bigger, so that we can actually harness that momentum, bring it into the halls of power, challenge, and take our rightful place in our democracy. It's ours. We have the numbers. It's one person, one vote. It's not $1, one vote. We need to assert the rights of human personhood and triumph over corporate personhood.
And I think it's really important to, again, as you said, to see where we've come from just from 4 years ago when you ran, and to also realize that this is a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at the Million Moms March. You had fun at the Climate March, and the Shell No the Shell No actions. I mean, it's fun and it's engaging. It's inspiring to be a part of an activist movement, and I'm sure you can attest to it being fun and inspiring to run for office and meet these people and connect with these issues directly. Any other parting words that you'd like to leave my viewers with?
I would just say, spread the word. Go to Jill2016.com, sign up, because we have a world to save. We have, a party to be had. We have an adventure ahead of us. Hold on to your hats. This is going to be really exciting and amazing. We have 2 court cases that are about to be filed right now. We're suing the Commission on Presidential Debates, at which I was arrested along with my running mate, Sherry Honkala. We were handcuffed tightly to metal chairs for 7 hours for trying to walk into the grounds of the college on which the debate was being held.
I told you she's a badass.
They are that afraid of us. They are that afraid of us that they had to take us to a dark site and basically disappear us for 7 hours until the press and the crowds had all gone home. They were that afraid that people would find out about us. Our job now is to simply organize the strategy, organize the vehicle by which we begin to take that power, which is being asserted in the streets. We need to take it from the streets now into our legislatures, into the White House, into our city halls, and start creating a world that works for all of us. This is in our hands.
For more on Jill Stein, who may or may not shortly be announcing an official bid for president in 2016, visit Jill2016.com.